Call this meeting to order. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow councillors and staff. I would like to welcome you to tonight's regular council meeting to be held and transmitted electronically via council chambers located at 39 South Shore Road, Lake Cowichan, BC. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge with gratitude we are gathering on the traditional unceded territory of the Sabbats people where we work and play. Any introductions of late items?
Under correspondence, I guess three, correspondence received from previous contract.
The correspondence of the previous contractor. Councilor Mackey?
Absent, certainly.
Okay, that will be under new business under 3.
Yeah, I'd like to report back on the BC Conservation Foundation's ultraviolet filters workshop that was held today.
And that will be under new business E. Could I have a approval of the agenda? Mr. Austin, Mr. Bisbee, all in favor? Carried. Public input. So this is the opportunity where anybody in the audience can give any input on anything on the agenda. You just have to say your name and your address. Input, thank you. Adoptions of the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on January 23rd, 2024. Mover, Councilor Austin, seconder, Councilor Frisbee. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. No business arising, unfinished business. No delegations or representations. So 8 correspondence. I will recuse myself for this. And I will ask Councilor Austin to step in as chair of the meeting. Thank you. Due to the correspondence, there is personal relations with the property.
Well, I'll just stay here. That's good enough, right? That'll be fine. Okay, thank you. Correspondence number 1 is from Brittany, area regulation infraction at number 3 South Shore Road. Mr. Fernandez.
Well, I think those 2 items deal with the same issue, the 1 and 2.
Okay, there's both. Do we also add the letter that Adam Sandu sent us as well? It's on there as well, where everybody's present. Did anyone have anything to say about that? Yeah, it was today. Well, look at it. Did anybody have the Frisbee?
Just in the first complaint, they did reference a complaint being filed against 11 South Shore Road. Is that something we received and we want to share? Or?
Well, I think council has in the past, either directly or indirectly, and council inserted itself in the full process when I was dealing with it in terms of bylaw enforcement and the issue of permitted uses, and then somehow it got taken out of the hands. So that's why we're here at this stage.
It is sorry for that. As far as the 11 South Shore Road, though, from what I've been made aware of, is there was something to do with the riparian area that was added.
Correct.
And is that something we want to share publicly, or is that being taken? Who would be dealing with that? Would that be the town or someone else?
Good time.
Okay, so that's something that staff's aware of.
Yeah, we've dealt with the agency.
Okay.
And Ministry of Environment? With it?
They did not directly get involved.
The only thing I would like to see, the previous owner, I believe, had paperwork saying that it was proper use for that property. But I think if that should be presented, if there's copies of the permits or anything like that, otherwise it's just hearsay, if that is proper use for that property. And you have nothing?
I have nothing. In fact, all the correspondence is pointing to the fact that there was no such agreement or such, exemption made.
So it is C3 though.
It is free.
Yeah,
But I mean, usually before you can do anything in the repair area, as you can see, we've got applications, you have to have a development permit, you have to go through.
yeah, and so there
And
were
which was never
permits,
done.
and there were no permits in place for that at that. How many years ago was that? At least 30 maybe?
Well, a number of years.
Probably close to 30, 25.
Not quite, I think it was, around 2010.
Oh, it was before that,
No, in terms of the use,
yeah,
the use of, the campground was 2010.
okay,
That's the date that I give.
2010. Anything further we want to say, Councillor Christie?
I guess that's one part of it, but there were concerns that. The sewage was being dumped into the river, but the owner has said that the 3 trailers on the site are connected to water and sewer. And the garbage is picked up. As far as the future use, I guess that's up for debate, but that alleviates some of the concerns.
Would you have something on that? Still question that I asked whether it goes to the health authority getting involved, but if it's we're taking care of or seeing water garbage. And so how do we find out through their CAO? I thought that it was a grandfather clause the last time I had asked why with the change of ownership, it was still allowed to be a campground designation.
If it was, use permitted previously, and if there is no gap in the use of more than 6 months, it's a permitted use that can continue. But the issue is, there is some question as to whether it was permitted in the first place.
Oh, okay. And there's no paperwork on it. That's what I've been asking for years. So what's the next step then?
I think the best approach now is to deal with the owners and ask them what it is that they plan on doing and how they plan on rectifying the issue of the repayment. I think that's, that's probably the step we want to take.
I think Adam has said as much in his letter.
But
Adam has said as much in his
I
letter.
say, so I think you want them to itemize and make that more formal.
Do we want to make a motion?
I would think that would probably be,
And what would the motion say exactly?
that they be asked to provide, steps that they would take to meet the repair areas regulation requirements.
Does someone want to read that motion?
Just. For, can I ask a question
Yeah.
before that? So what is the repairing area issue that we're dealing with on that property if sewer is looked after
I don't think the sewer is the issue, it's the use
of the camp?
of the tax.
Okay, so the campsite, so this is a zoning issue?
It's a zoning issue.
Because it does, the owner does say that they're looking to turn into a more commercial use in the future. And are working on getting rid of the 2 renters.
Yeah.
So it's just a tough situation with that.
So do we want to make a motion or do you want to just put it out, say, not wondering if it should be sent back to staff to
So,
direction to staff should
Sure.
to deal with it?
yeah,
And we'll have help.
and come back to you.
Et cetera.
Okay.
Yeah, would that be appropriate?
That would be
Appropriate?
appropriate.
Is that talk to Mr. Sandu?
I'll address the issue and then see what happens.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we should its direction to staff. Is it direction? Okay, that's what we need to vote on. Is it direction to staff? We all agree. Yeah, we do. Okay, would someone like to get Christine, please, and thank you? You know, we can vote for direction, just. Well, it's supposed to come from the chair. I don't find it. Next, yeah, sit direct. Nobody wanted it. So we'll be down at line of. Number 3, Councillor Austin. Okay, we all received, following the last committee of the whole meeting, we all council members received a letter from a former contractor with some complaints about our public input and people in our speaking. I pulled up the, actually, it's our procedural bylaw, not the one that we signed when we were elected. And it tells you 17.2, it says the following guidelines apply to the verbal comment from public on a subsequent agenda item for all council meetings, including committee of the whole. The maximum time allowed is 15 minutes, and I think we went over half an hour at the last meeting. A speaker is limited to 3 minutes. A speaker may only speak once during public input period. A speaker must restrict their remarks to items that are listed on the open meeting agenda, excluding bylaws and matters which are or have been subject of a public hearing. A speaker must avoid personal references, insinuations, or make offensive or disrespectful remarks about another person, and offensive language, of course, is not permitted. So what we get from that is residents are allowed to voice their opinion or have input on the topic on the agenda. They should actually stay on the topic though. And however, they must, they can voice their opinions in a positive and non-discriminatory manner on the topic referred to. It's not acceptable to make negative comments to what a previous contract. There is more stuff that was in under point of order that we were told about. And basically, it's usually a councillor that says to the chair, point of order, that something needs to be changed or fixed. So I just think we have to be careful. I'll keep that available for the next committee of the whole that I chair, so that I don't allow that to happen again, because it was a little bit difficult.
I was just gonna say something that I just think that we weren't prepared for one specific speaker speaking specifically on a business, and then another company that had nothing to do with anything on the agenda. So something I learned myself was, after I left that meeting, was I should have said something, I should have done a point of order, and I didn't. So for me, what happened, I learned. And I think for all of us, that's all we can do, is learn by our mistakes and take ownership of them and move on. So
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that, we get a lot of information given to us when we have training. We cannot remember all of it, so we do our best. And we will do so in the future. Thank you.
So now to reports, council committee reports, committee of the whole, February 13th, 2024, council.
Thank you. I'd like to move the minutes of February 13th, 2024 with the following recommendations. That the committee recommend approval of the Lake Cowichan Fire Department's incident report in the amount of $9,355.76 for December. The next one is that the committee recommend approval of the Lake Cowichan Fire Department's incident report in the amount of $9,700.81 for January. That the education center business plan circulated prior to the meeting be brought back to the next committee meeting. And that the committee recommend the council endorse a parking study and long-term parking plan for the Lake Cowichan area in the 2024 budget.
Any questions? Good. Cowichan Lake Recreation Commission. Yes, could we have a mover of the minutes of the meeting?
I would sort of move it as a
Seconder?
Yeah.
So the background discussion, all in favor? Carried. Good, thank you. Number 2, Cowichan Lake Recreation Commission. Our next meeting is March 25th at 1:30. Thank you, Rutland Regional Library. That's awesome.
Thank you. I attended the annual general meeting, which was held in person at the Vancouver Broadland Conference Center in Nanaimo on Saturday, February 10th. Excuse me, with Aaron Jimenez in the chair. I believe all representatives of 38 municipalities were in attendance with one on Zoom. A week prior to the meeting, trustees were given training on the new board table program that provides all our files for the meetings. There was a little bit of thinking fun there. The nomination committee's report was first up, reporting that the current executive members were elected by acclamation. Nikki McCarville reported on the digital collections, the top resources to read, watch, and listen to. And they do a lot now in the library. You can actually get music and different things like that there for free. I think 5 pieces per day or per week. Marielle Davis, who also worked at our library at one point, she's a customer service librarian from Cowichan Branch, talking mostly about what the library does for children and youth. And that we all need to engage with the school districts and the parents committee so they know what is available as well. Executive Director Ben Hyman presented his report on activities over the past year. The staff visit municipalities with current information in person if asked, and visit others by Zoom, and that's to keep the finances down as well. We all received a strategic plan report. The financial report was received and discussed. Several trustees had pertinent questions regarding the current state of affairs. An expenditure by nature of expense report was part of our package as well as an extensive reserves report. An update on the Massett Library bill was presented by Mayor Sherry Disney. We had a working lunch then and went in camera for the last half hour. The next meeting is a hybrid meeting, which is scheduled for June. We're having one less meeting per year. So that helps a little bit as well, but more executive.
Any questions? Next one, APC. Advisory Planning Commission. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next meeting is this Thursday at 4. We will be discussing the draft workforce housing strategy report and a synopsis of the regional climate adaptation advisory group meeting. Our town plan of the 10th meeting. On the agenda as well is the housing accelerator fund from the province for discussion. A copy of our OCB has gone to Mike Tippett, manager of the community planning division of the CBRD for approval. Our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, March 28th at 4 p.m. in Council. Questions?
Thank you. The next one is the Community Force Co-op. Mayor McCall was absent tonight, so he'll be for next month. Other reports, Couch Valley Regional District Board meeting, Mayor McGonigal, again, we'll report back at next meeting. Next one, Community Outreach Team Committee, Councilor Austin.
Thank you. The in-person meeting was held on Thursday, February 15th at Community Services. In attendance were Jocelyn Lumber, Director of Community Services, Cameron Brown, Reaching Home, Danny Namber, Couch Lake Recreation Coordinator, Kim McLeod and Leanne, Public Health Nurses from the Island Health Outreach Team, and Rosalie Sowery from Social Planning Intelligence. There was a fulsome discussion regarding the discontinuation of the Strong Start program in Paulson. However, many other sources are stepping up at the moment, like the library, Health Lake Rec, and the Christian Intelligence Church. Our librarian is developing a weekly timetable for families with information on various activities within our community. And I have talked to some of the young families at the Well Baby Clinic, and we'll keep them posted on the current situation. I won't read through all the minutes from this meeting, but I'm pleased to know that all the various contributors in our community provide lots of programs for our residents and for the marginalized on a regular basis. If anyone would like a copy of those minutes, please let me know. In 2 days, I think that's enough. It's a great meeting and it's really good to see all those people.
Any questions? Okay. So the next one is our Cowichan, and the next meeting is April 11th, 2020. Cowichan Watershed Board. Yesterday, we held our monthly meeting by Zoom. And I just wanted to read a short version of the news release from the Cowichan Tribes First Nations Cowichan Regional District and the Cowichan Watershed Board. We welcome the announcement of 14 million in funding from the province of British Columbia for the Cowichan Lake Weir Replacement Project. I'm pleased to see the provincial government commit funding for the raising of the Lake Cowichan Weir, a positive step for the essential project to sustain the health of the Cowichan River. Cowichan Tribes Chief and co-chair of the Cowichan Watershed Board said Chief Whitson. We look forward to the next step with the province in advancing liability protection and a collaborative approach to water governance that respects Cowichan Tribes' inherent rights. We are elated to hear that the province is committing to the health of the Heritage River and ecosystem while also supporting water preservation for the communities who depend on the critical resource. said Aaron Stone, Chair of the Cowichan Valley Regional District and Co-Chair of the Cowichan Watershed Board. This announcement is a result of a long journey of collaboration between the CBRD and Cowichan tribes. The newly announced funding will match an existing 24 million contribution from the Federal Disaster Mitigation and Adaptation Fund contribution to Cowichan tribes for a broader Cowichan River Resilience Project, which includes the development of a new weir. A collaboration to put water for salmon first with Cowichan tribes in the driver's seat and all government partnering. This is a different and better approach to doing things, said Tom Rutherford, Strategic Priorities Director for the Cowichan Watershed Board. We have more work to do, but today we welcome to celebrate the decades of work and collaboration by so many who love and care for the long-term health of this river.
Is there any timeline on when they think they'd be able to start? Or it would probably be in the fall or winter or the late fall or early winter?
The next step is to find the licensee member. So once that is done, then they'll commence with the actual project. The other thing we did finish was our governance manual and our 2024 to 2026 impact plan. And I forgot to add this to the agenda, so forgive me, but I'll add this to this is the Cowichan Watershed Board is hosting a Fishkill Community Response Planning Workshop on March 12th, 2024 from 8:30 to 4:30. And I am one of 4 Watershed Board members invited. And so I would just ask for approval from council to attend this. There's no cost to this event. Sir Austin, Councilor Frisbee, any discussion? All in favor? Carried. And that is my report. Our next item is staff reports. It's Fernandez.
The first one is a development permit application that we received for 163 Neva Road. Just for council's information, under the OCP now, all of the town is considered at wildfire risk. And so every development has to make an application to ensure that they meet the requirements of the wildfire covenant, which they have to have registered against those properties. So that's what the application is there for, and they're looking for a development permit that will allow them to complete the subdivision process. It's 163 Neva Road, and just for council's information, there has been water quarry on the permit application, but no objection. The recommendation is to approve.
So we have a recommendation for approval. Councilor Volmaka moves, seconded. Councilor Frisbee, any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Next one is Mr. Fernandez.
Yes, this is for a temporary use permit, an extension actually. The cannabis stall had a temporary use permit issued to it 3 years ago, a little better than 3 years ago. And they forgot to renew it. So we reminded them and they put in an application for renewal. They allowed one more extension. So it's here for the approval.
So there is a recommendation from staff. Councilor Austin, mover, seconded. Councilor Black, second, and Councilor Volmaka, question.
So, it says no concerns were raised by the public, the school district and the RCMP during the past 3 years of the operation of this cannabis retail business. I thought that there had been some security issues with.
That's something that the RCMP is dealing with. It's not with
So they don't have concerns to the security of the location. Thank you.
And my question was, do they have to keep renewing a temporary use permit?
No, this is the last time to do it,
And then after.
and then
this-
they'll have to go through the zoning application.
Process, right, okay. That's right. Okay,
Any further discussion? All the questions? All in favor? Carried.
okay.
Bylaws, the 10, Mr. Fernandez.
Yes, council just, back earlier this year, late last year decided to move the 6 o'clock council meeting to 5 o'clock. So it's a request, because the bylaw indicates 6 o'clock, so which is, it's a little bit of housekeeping to make sure that that meets what you wishes
So this is just to be reconsidered,
and adopt.
Mover, Councilor Austin, seconder. Councilor Frisbee, any discussion?
You just, on the town website, it still states council meetings are at 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
So you
until
change it after.
this is adopted, then we'll change it.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Mr. Fernandez.
Okay, listen, we have an application. And if you know where the country grocer is, the liquor store, and right next to it, there's a vacant store now. There's an application to put in a big shop in that. And so they have to go through a process, they made an application, and the bylaw is here to first and second reading, and then it goes to a public process. Public hearing process.
Any questions to the CAO?
Maybe you want to move it.
Okay, could I get a mover? Councilor Frisbee, seconder? Yeah, Councilor Omaka, any discussion?
Is there a recommendation from staff about this?
Not yet, we'll, prior to the public meeting, we'll talk about it.
Well, I know it's a little bit different with country grocery and us licensed to sell cigarettes, but is this any different vaping and next to schools?
Yes, because there's provincial regulations relating to this specifically. So it's different from what's happening. The country grocer, and this is only for that location where that next door to the liquor store, so it cannot be located in country grocer. Just to that specific location, because it's a separate lot.
But it's still the same distance to a school, so is it?
Yeah, we'll, that, after this, after we've given it first and second reading, we'll refer it to Allen and to,
Okay. Okay.
and to the neighbors.
All questions, in favor? Carried. New business, public meeting in open house, Monday, March 4th, at 6:30. And that's at the. Councilor Austin?
Well, sorry, I just had a question because it says Wild Safe Bear Smart may be in attendance. I looked on the website. They don't have a person in this area or Nanaimo right now. Are we going to look into it again and see if someone from some other district on the island will come?
Well, we have the one sergeant already. It's
Yeah,
covered.
but he's a CO and he has different regulations than the Bear Smart.
So what was the other issue about?
Well, the other man was from Bear Smart, I forgot his name. And when I look on the website, it just says in hibernation, which means they haven't got, I don't know whether he's committed. So that's Nanaimo and Gulch Valley, so maybe we should try and see if someone can come. I'm meeting with our local Bear Smart discussion.
And they're coming.
They're coming on Thursday. They've been on that website and gathered all the information. But again, they're just a local group. They're not the actual authority. So I think we should try and make sure someone from Wild Safe will be coming other than the CO.
Okay.
Please, thank you.
Payment in the council remuneration payment schedule.
If I may, there's another item that needs to be added. The Donald's absence.
That was after this, I did it.
Oh, you did add?
Yeah,
You did add?
yeah.
So-
Well, I will start the conversation. Our current bylaw of council remuneration and expenses, bylaw number 1077, 2022. That's our current. Okay, so under this, it has under B, payments of annual remuneration set out in Schedule A shall be paid in 26 payments to equal the annual remuneration payable is to be commensurate with actual time served in office. And so we went to the monthly in 2023, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Well, from the time.
yes, yeah. So the 2023 schedule, there were two payments in the year that were 6 weeks in between. And again, in 2024, there was 2 6 weeks in between pay periods. So I guess the question is, I think some of us have gone in and talked to the CFO about this. But I personally, I support once a month, but I do not support a 6-week gap. It's just, it goes against our bylaw. And I think if we're gonna follow our bylaws, then council has to follow their own bylaws. So if we need to amend that, then I think that's something staff should look at and bring back to council.
Yeah, I was just looking at I guess you should amend the former bylaw if it has to be worded.
To once a month.
Whatever you feel.
Yeah.
It's to do with the county, it doesn't.
Well, it's to do with the fiscal year, calendar year, January to December, so it's got to match, and the thing is to remember is. I mean, we are paid by the employees of bi-weekly, and way back in time, that's how council was also determined, because they have fixed rates, so it was easy to deal with that, but it's changed. Now you've got an increase in November, which really now really muddies the water. So for us to look at a bi-weekly payment is just, it will not work in terms of reconciliation, in terms of payment plan, because how do you calculate what your bi-weekly is? You're not an hourly paid employee, like the employees of the town who are paid by the hour. Even if it's a monthly paid, a yearly paid employee, you can calculate a month, an hourly rate for the council, but it's important. You can't say what your hourly rate is, because you can say you work hundreds of hours, just doesn't work. So in terms of a bi-weekly pay, it's just impossible. In fact, prior to this council coming on board, we already had delays because you didn't get paid bi-weekly. We also missed a couple of payments then just to make up the yearly payment for the council remuneration. So if you want to go with a monthly payment plan, that's worth it. Because council last year got 6.8 increase in November 1st, and then come November 1st again, there will be a change. So that makes it very tough for us to work out any kind of bi-weekly rate. That's just the.
I just have a question. So, staff, they get an increase yearly so how does that work with the computer system?
It's based on the hour, so if you give us a 2% increase, it just goes 2% on the hour.
So if we got a 3% increase, you would just add that increase to what the yearly total is, and then you would divide that by 12.
Except you don't have to yearly total yet, because we've got a change coming up in November.
Right.
So we know what it is for the first 10 months. It's fixed. It's November 1st to December, we don't know.
So then how did the February and August go to 6 weeks?
Oh, well,
That's ahead of,
It was a timing issue. You got paid in the middle of January, And now you're gonna get paid at the end of February, so that's why the 6 weeks. But there is, if you look at your schedule, you get paid once a month,
Yes,
and the timing issue affects. You know, the issue of whether it's 5 weeks or 6 weeks, but once a month is how you are going to get paid.
so maybe I guess starting in January, like the beginning of each year, maybe you should set that out for the last day in January. And then there won't be any 6 weeks, like it would end up being. So if you set it off at the and I'm just putting that out there, but
Yeah,
to me, I just don't I really just do not understand this, and I find that.
well, our system is also different. We have a payroll system that doesn't allow you to pay the employees one way and the council another, you know, at the end of the month.
Yeah.
That's the issue. That's why we try to match your monthly pay to the last pay that's the cycle that
Yeah.
employees get.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, we don't have to go through getting a new software program to deal with discount.
So the majority of council is going to leave it the same, should we look at updating that bylaw?
You can just change the, yeah, say once a month.
Already? Yeah.
And then will we correct the August payment? Where it's
So,
not 6 weeks?
yeah, the only thing is, we're trying to do that because you may have to repay by check until we resolve.
For that matter.
Yeah, yeah, we can do it. We're starting July, August, right?
So you'll bring back then in the future an amended bylaw for us
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Any further questions? The next one is C, emergency management couch and regional approach to emergency management plan. Mr. Fernandez?
Yeah, this is, just providing support to the CBRD to make application. In fact, they have already made the application, and we're going in as a group.
B,
You want to, they need to vote.
Oh, needs a motion. So I'll make the motion. Councilor Austin, seconder, Councilor Frisbee, any further discussion? Draft, so. Each municipality resolved for the Calhoun Valley Regional District to apply for, receive, and manage the UBCM Community Emergency Preparedness Fund Emergency Operations Center 2024 grant funding up to $150,000 on behalf of all municipalities. Councilor Austin, Councilor Frisbee, all in favor? And D. Councilor Bernardo?
Or like to make the, which is it?
Yeah.
Motion to excuse Mayor McLaughlin from tonight's public meeting.
Seconder, Councilor Frisbee, all in favor? Carried. No mayor's report. Councilor Frisbee.
So I did attend the BC Conservation Foundation ultraviolet filters workshop. In a nutshell, it's basically the toxic sunscreen report that they've been working on for the last 4 years. I was there as a stakeholder outside of my council duties. It was well represented. The Shawnigan Lake, Cowichan, and Koksala watershed were all represented. There was a Town of Lake Cowichan employee there. The Cowichan Lake and River Stewardship Society were there, and the CBRD were there. Basically, in a nutshell, what it presented was oxybenzone, which is the bad stuff in sunscreen, was present in the river. The study has shown that it's present due to recreation, not the town's outflow. There was no oxybenzone detected at the town's water intake, so nothing to worry about there. The highest concentrations were found at Spring Beach and Gordon Bay. So most of the surveying efforts by the BCCF were talking to people there. There were also high concentrations found at Sandy Pool and Little Beach. From the survey, they did find that 21% of people are using RiverSafe sunscreen. Only 50% of people knew that toxic sunscreen was an issue for the Calchin watershed, and 93% of people said that they would start using RiverSafe sunscreen now that they've heard about it. The Town of Lake Calchin there was a call to action made by the BCCF, and they are asking that the Town of Lake Calchin lead the way by making a statement, and that suggested statement was to ban non-RiverSafe sunscreen from being sold in the Town of Lake Calchin, with the hope that this would spur on the CBRD and Shawnigan Lake to follow suit, and hopefully Vancouver up. So my question from this report to fellow councillors, is this something of interest to our council, to staff? Like, is this legally possible? And does the staff have the capacity to actually motion this? Because I think the best way to do it would be to talk to businesses and try to get buy-in from local businesses to not sell the product and then impose the bylaw. So that was the three questions, I guess, to council and staff.
Councillor Bonner, that was my suggestion, was to first go to local businesses and try to educate and get them to do it willingly before we went to the next step. Because even if you ban it here in town, people come from other communities which will have their sunscreen, so how do you monitor that down at the river? And I think the first step is to work with our local business and show them the report and ask if they would be willing to.
So just on that, so I will share some of the that in saying this, they did do it just at the campgrounds, but 9% of people are buying the sunscreen in Calgary, so it is a low number. But I mean, I would estimate that's about 10,000 people. So it is although there are coming from other communities, the idea that was discussed that if Lake Calgary did it, it's just a small portion, but if we lead the way, then it won't spread.
Well, I'm just wondering if businesses, if they have agreements with the different companies, you know, already with, I don't know the names of the companies, the different ones, but would they not have a problem with not selling that particular type of something? I mean, it's certainly good to educate them, and then maybe they can connect with the different companies about, and they provide better products. Because if they already have a contract to buy 10 cases of this and 10 cases of that, I don't think they would want to do that. But education is the key if they will listen.
I think that there needs to be a bold statement, and then I think we've got an opportunity to do it, and I think a combination of the two, whether we do go to businesses and talk to them about it, but I think in the end, we should make, we're being asked to make a statement and lead the way, and this could be one that we could really speed with.
Could we forward this, since none of us have read this report, could this be forwarded to our committee of the whole meeting in March so that we can have some time and then we can.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah,
Like, I think we've got time, we're only at the end of February, yeah, we've got time, and we've got 2 weeks to our next meeting, just. So staff is prepared, we're prepared, and then we can have a good discussion on this.
Yeah, understood. The reason why I did bring it up today is from the statement today. But I guess if there's something you could answer at the moment, like the legality around it, like I realize there are the concerns that we've shared with businesses. From your standpoint, is there something that is possible?
I think it would be better to get voluntary compliance.
Yeah.
And I think what Council Matter suggested is a good thing. Maybe we would go to the individual businesses and talk to them. And local businesses have been pretty compliant so far. I mean, country goes the pharmacies and the also stuff. So we will, we'll do that as a first step prior to the meeting, so that we're prepared when we come to the meeting.
who would be the one to go to the businesses?
We've got pretty good rapport with the businesses through staff. So
Okay.
we'll work with that.
And then for background, the BCCF has got in contact with the IDAs to try and identify what sunscreen is. Is that, so they're in early stages of that, but yeah, to me, there needs to be a bold statement, and I would, I'd love further discussion on this one, so maybe, back to staff for more information.
And bring that to the committee of the whole. in March.
That'd be great.
Mayor's report, no mayor's report tonight. Number 13, notice of motion. Any notices of motion? Question period. Questions are limited to items on the agenda. For off-site, please call 250-749-3239. For in-person attendees, you have a maximum of 3 minutes. If you'd like to speak, you just have to give your name and your address.
I was just here for one of the bylaws, so I'm fine. No
Okay.
questions. Thank you.
You're
Thanks.
welcome. Thank you for coming.
I'm with Easy Bait. If I don't know if anybody has any questions about our plans, I'd be happy to. But I think it's going. Pardon?
The neighbor road one?
No,
No, okay, Easy Bait.
Easy Bait,
Oh, that.
bait shop going inside the liquor
Oh, I
store.
see.
Mr. Pennington.
Yeah, you can't really talk about it at this stage.
Because it's, we just done first and second reading,
Yep.
so then there's a process.
Okay, so,
Thank you.
problem.
Any emails or phone call? I guess there's no emails now, right? It's just phone
Just a
calls.
phone here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, well, let's,
Oh,
nothing for you.
he's thinking about jumping up to the
Okay, a motion to adjourn. Councilor Malnati, Councilor Frisbee, all in favor, carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, you are.